Okay, right now we will going to learn and through going through the chapter 4 theory of production and cost for the part 2. In the part 2, most of the focus we will going to on tellings about the theory of costing in the production within the economic concept, right? It's more related to costing other than production compared to the part 1. Okay, there are several type of cost concept where you have to know every of them are different. Okay, when we talk about cost, the first concept you might heard is implicit cost. All right, implicit cost. What is implicit cost? Implicit cost ni is mostly similar to the opportunity cost lah. Okay, in other words, opportunity cost and implicit cost can be said as a similar, the same thing. For example, a capital being invest into your business, all right, and or the depreciation value which have been incurred towards your machinery, okay, which mean dia macam nilai susut lah dalam untuk jentera you punya nilai, okay. When you keep using that kind of machine and tools, the value of that item will keep decreasing. All right, so we call it as a depreciation value. All right, so it is non-purchase, it is non-purchasable. Okay, in term of factors, and it also might be used. Okay, it also telling you that it can might be used to invest into other business, which might be can generate more money, we don't know. So that kind of thing we refer it as implicit cost. All right, it is similar to the opportunity cost also. So as for explicit cost, it's more towards direct to your production, okay, such as wage for your staff and the purchases of resources or input to produce your product. Social cost is more towards your surrounding lah, what kind of impact your production and your business or your economic activities to your surroundings, such as society or environmental. Sunk cost is mostly the things that you have expend, you have purchased, but you cannot recover back. Okay, the expenditure you have made for your business. Okay, class, please aware that in the production, short run always associated with two type of input, okay, which are fixed input and variable input. When we talk about fixed input and variable inputs, it's all will associated also with the fixed cost and variable costs, right? So as for long run, all the inputs, it's already being converted into I'm sorry, all input is already being converted into variable input. Okay, when all the inputs become variable input, so your cost will automatically become a variable cost. So that is the difference between short run and long run. All right, when you look on the short run cost curve, okay, this curve are telling you, okay, we are right now we are talking about the total cost, okay, we are not talking about the average yet, right? Please separate the average part on the other graph. Okay, we are talking about the total cost. The total cost is a total sum between total variable cost and total fixed cost. If you see the shape, total variable cost will keep increasing towards the right side upward. Okay, it shows also the amount mix between total variable cost and total fixed cost will give you total cost over here, and the total cost also should start with the minimum here, minimum point. The total cost minimum point should start at the upper than total fixed cost. This is how a graph illustrate the total cost and total variable and total fixed cost. Okay, right now, if a short run cost curve involve the average value, okay, where all the costs you divide it with the amount number of quantity, right? So how it's look like when you make it as an average value, right? So as for average fixed cost, the curve will be shaped like bending to the lower part, okay, it going down like this in the red color ni. Okay, because of the fixed amount of its value on every now every level of output, so that's why it's look like this. Okay, how about average variable cost? Average variable cost will be shaped like u shape or smiley shape like this. Okay, and it also will going to give a similar shape for the average total cost, but average total cost must be above than average variable cost and average fixed cost, right? What happened to the marginal cost? There is the increasing number of costs due to the increasing number of output. So the curve for marginal cost will be shaped, will be looks like right symbol like this. Okay, so marginal cost will cross all the curve through the minimum point number on average variable cost. Whenever marginal cost intersect with average variable cost or average total cost, it it intersect with a point to show with point that showing that that is the minimum value of cost. All right. Okay, this graph illustrates showing you the three stages of short run cost curve. Okay, what happened in the every stages of short run cost curve? All right, so in the stage one, if you see all the curve are going to down, indicate a decrease in the number of courses. For the average fixed cost, okay, it falls rapidly because of the spreading effect of total fixed cost over the increasing larger output, because total fixed cost is keep constant, never change. But when it comes to average level, the higher the number of output, the lower the number of average fixed cost is gonna be. All right. How about average variable cost? Average variable cost in the blue color one, all right, it's fall because of the marginal production keep increasing. Okay, on the production side, when the marginal production increasing, this average variable cost will be decreasing. That is the effect of that marginal production. Okay, so what happened to the second stage of short run cost curve? Okay, as you can see, the average variable cost starts slowing to increase a bit. Okay, this is due to the decreasing number of production. If you remember, when on the stage 2, the production reaching its maximum limit over here. Okay, after it's reached its maximum limit in the short run production, it will going to decrease in terms of the production. Whenever the amount of production going to increase and the input keep being increased, it will increase the cost of production. So that is the reason why average variable cost increase, because the firm keep hired a new staff and keep purchase an input resources to increase their production, but at the end of the process the production didn't increase because of the fixed input, because they have to convert fixed input, but fixed input never change. So what happened in their production is their production will be going to decrease on the stage later on. So when the production going to decrease on the third stage, it will increase back the average variable cost on the stage 2. That is the reason why the shape for the average variable cost become increasing back after they reach their minimum point over here on the stage 2. And the total fixed cost keep falling due to the decreasing in the value of average fixed costs. Okay, the average fixed cost will always be going to decrease no matter what, because of the nature of constant value. Okay, because of the fixed cost itself is similar value, but when it comes to the average amount, it will keep going down on the graph part. So how about the stage three, the last stage? Okay, the average variable cost, if you see it start to rise rapidly because of the marginal production keep decreasing. If you compare it with the production curve, when the marginal production at this time, marginal production already reached to the negative level. Okay, because of the marginal production are not going to increase more, it will increase the cost of production of the firm. That is the reason why variable costs keep increasing. Okay, how about the total average cost? Due to the increasing number of average due to the decreasing number of average fixed costs, which smaller compared to the increasing number of average variable costs, then the total average cost also will begin to increase because of this reason. Okay, this graph show you how the marginal cost curve look like, and how it interact or intersect with the cost curve. Okay, so if you see the marginal cost, if you refer back, the marginal cost curve will be look like a right. Okay, a right a right shape like this. Okay, it will intersect with average total cost and average variable cost whenever they put together into one graph. So the intersection between marginal cost curve with the average total cost will happen at the minimum point of average total cost curve. Whenever we refer to this point of intersection, it shows that this is the point where average total cost is at the most lowest level. Okay, the most cheapest point ever. Okay, in order to compare between the relationship between marginal side and costing side, and the marginal side with the production side, you can compare between these two graphs. Okay, these two graph is talking about marginal production and marginal and average production. So meanwhile, on the second graph, if we're talking about the marginal cost and average variable cost, this is the graph that you have learned in the part 1 before. So this is the graph where you learn right now on the part 2 in this chapter. So what kind of relationship you can relate it between these two graphs? Okay, whenever the marginal cost intersects with average production, it shows that the number or the value or the point of intersection happen on the point where it shows the high maximum number of production point over here. So when it comes to this situation, the another situation also happened at the similar time where the marginal cost will intersect with average variable cost at the most lowest cost in production. Okay, in conclusion, okay, conclusion is when the firm reaching the maximum number of production, okay, at the same time automatically the average variable cost incurred by that firm will be at the most lowest point ever. So this situation usually happen on the stage 2 of production and stage 2 of production cost. So that is the reason why the stage 2 of production cost and short run production activity is the most efficient and the best production situation on condition can be utilized and happen for the firm. Okay. Okay, what is mean by ISO cost? Right now, once we talking about ISO cost, we refer it to the long run production cost theory. Okay, when we talk about long run production costs, we will refer it to the ISO costs. Okay, do you still remember when we talk about ISO quant in the part 1 previously? Okay, where Isoquant will be used, or it is a method being used to measure the outcome of productivity when all the inputs in the long run production are already become a variable input. Okay, when all the inputs already uh, become as a variable input, so we have to use the isoquant to calculate all the combination between these two variable inputs in order to know how much is the level of output can be produced. So the same thing happen also in in the long run costing theory. Okay, when we refer it to the costing theory for the long run, we will going to use another method which we call it as the isocos. Okay, this is the isocos. So the isocos equation can be written as the labor wage plus with the capital capital price. Okay, this is where all the inputs already became a variable input. So the combination between this input will going to give an output, or the long production output, where it will be associated with the total cost for long run production. So this is how isocos line looks like. Okay, it is based on the combination between the dot between every level of output. Okay, in each level of output, at each level of combination between two variable inputs such as capital and labor, there will be an amount or a point of output on every level of combination. So the point of this combination is combined together in order to shape this kind of curve. All right, so for example, this point will be combined with this and this and this and this and this. So that is the reason why when all the point combine together, it will show this shape. Okay, the the straight downward shape for the isocos line. Okay, what is mean by the isocos line when it moves to the right side? Okay, the comparison between these two lines is in terms of its value. Okay, the more rightwards the more rightwards the position it be, the more high the value it carry on. Okay, let's say if the next curve located at this position to the right, more rightward, so the isocos value will be much more bigger. Okay, how long run production cost looks like. Okay, so if you can see here, so this is all the short run average cost in every different type of time being. Okay, for example, the combination between various short run average costs, one short run average cost, two, three, four, and five, will shape the main long run production cost. Okay, for example, this short run average cost is referred to the cost of production for first month, and this one is for the second month, and this one of the third, fourth, and fifth. Okay, within fifth month we refer it, for example, as a long run production cost. So how to draft this long run production cost by combining the most minimum number on every short average cost on the every short average cost. Okay, right here, like this. Okay, so when all the minimum point of short average cost or on every month, so you can see the combination will going to show you the u the total U shape for overall. Okay, this point mixed with this point, this point, this point, and this point. As you can see, they only intersect with the most lowest minimum point for every short run average cost. Okay, then they will form a big, large, long range average cost for 5 months. For example, we take example for 5 months because of the combination between 5 months for five short range short run average cost like this. Okay, this is how long range average cost being formed. Okay, right now you're going to heard about the law of return to scale. Okay, the law of return to scale is the reason why long run average cost shape like this. Okay, why long run average cost its shapes looks like U smiley shape like this. This is because of the law of return to scale. Alright, when we divide this shape into three three uh, three sides where it explain every details why it going to decrease and downwards, and why suddenly when it reach to the minimum number it going to increase upward. It is because of the increasing return to scale. Okay, when it happen, when the increasing return to scale happen in the economy or inside or outside the firm, the long run average cost will going to decrease. Okay, so in the middle, after the decrease, and when the firm reaching the most lowest point in a production period, that one is the phase where we call a constant return to scale because of the constant return to scale reason. And then when why suddenly the long run average cost keep increasing upward is because the decreasing return to scale. All these three things is associated with the law of return to scale. Okay, why what is the cause of, and what kind of factors which cause this law of return to scale? That one we're going to discuss on the next slide. So this is the factor that influence law of return of scale. Okay, the economies of scale and diseconomies of scale. That is the reason why it happened. Okay, what is mean by economies of scale? Economies of scale is advantages and benefit given by the firm when it become larger, and because of that it reduced the long run average cost curve to the downward, the things that you see on the first page. Okay, what kind of example you can get or you can refer as economies of scales, like marketing economies, financial economies, labor economies, and technical economies or managerial economies. When we talk about marketing economies, it refers to that the input being purchased by your firm in a bulk. Okay, when you buy in the big amount of quantity, you can get a less price. Okay, when you brought it into a bulk quantity, you can get a certain discount for every unit being purchased by your company. That is what is referred in marketing economies. So what is meant by the financial economies? Financial economies mostly related to capital economies. A cost will be less if the producer produce at the maximum capacity and output. That is referred as the financial economies. All of this, it is an advantage and benefit gained by the firm. And labor economies, when the worker assigned to the only when the firm become bigger and larger, a worker able to assign to do only one task. Okay, because of that the productivity will become more efficient for the labor economy because they hired more staff. All right, so what is mean by technical and managerial economics? So if refer to the managerial economics, all the management uh, will working more toward efficient way, where there will be no wasted resource happen in your production. So what happened to the diseconomies of scale? Usually this is the problem faced by the firm as it become larger. Because of this problem, it will incur the curse. That is the reason why when you see the long run average cost shape when they going to downward, they suddenly going to increase upward because of this economies of scale. It will increase your firm production costs. Okay, that is the reason why the long run average production cost increase. Okay, so what is the example for this economy of scale is a mismanagement. Okay, when the mismanagement happen in your firm, there will be a lot of resource being wasted and your production won't be efficient. Okay, you cannot save your costs. The competition, because of the competition, it limit your revenue and profit. Level these economies where when you have to assign a lot of job towards one level, so it will affect the level of productivity and efficiency. One level carry on a lot of things which is not good because it will affect the quality of their job. Okay, what is mean by economy of scope? Okay, this is the economy of scope. Don't confuse between economy of scope and these economies of scale, right? When we talk about this economy of scope, it's mean that when the firm can produce two type of product with a larger amount of number of product. Okay, means that one company can produce two type of product with a larger amount of number compared to two companies who produce these two different product at the same time. Okay, in other words, one company can produce two product much more much more higher than these two companies produce one product. Okay, that is mean by economy of scope. Meanwhile, this economy of scope will happen because of the individual firm. That one firm production of one product inconsistent with the another production of the another product, which means that they produce two product. One of these product is inconsistent with another product. Okay, means that one product are much more higher than another product, or one product are much more high quality compared to other product. That's why this economy of scope happen. Okay, after you complete and going through the theory of production and the theory of cost, there are some concept of revenue the student have to understand and knows, okay, in production and cost. So revenue is the amount of gain by the company, okay, in term of monetary. All right, so how to find a revenue is by multiply the price with the quantity, then you will get revenue. Okay, so as for profit also, revenue must be subtract or minus the cost, then you will get the profit in production. Okay, so this is how you find out your average revenue by dividing the total revenue with the quantity. The revenue for one unit of product being sold in the market, that is referred to average revenue. As for marginal revenue, it is an increasing amount of revenue, a result of increasing number of product being sold in the market. So that's the reason why they call it as a marginal revenue. How to get marginal revenue is the change in total revenue divided by the change in quantity. Okay, this is a formula and the equation how to measure a revenue based on the graph Okay, so if you see the straight line of the graph, you can see that you can use you can use this formula to find out how much is your price value. When after you get the price value, you can multiply it with the quantity in order to get the total revenue. All of these things can be associated with the shape of the graph. Okay, based on the shape of the graph, you can measure the amount of value based on this formula. Same goes to the marginal revenue. Mostly marginal revenue is the half of the slope of demand. If you see the slope of demand, shape it like one cross downward shape, and marginal revenue is represent half of that straight line. Okay,